Welcome to the AR Performance Squash Advantage, hosted by me, Ahad Raza, a former PSA touring pro turned elite performance mentor and coach. I break down tactics, technique, fitness, and mindset by analyzing players from the past and present, both men and women. I aspire to teach, empower, and guide transformation. Let's get started. Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video, we're going to jump into the tactical review of the semifinal between Coll and Tarek Momen. There are a few things that are really cool about this match because we're seeing players with two different game styles. Coll is the attrition, length-based, super retrieval, which is why his name is Superman, and counter-attacking sort of game. He does initiate, but he initiates in a different way. Tarek Momen is the more traditionally Egyptian style attacker where he doesn't sit back and he doesn't play passively for the most part, and he likes to initiate and play with angles and change things up with the holds and the deception and all of that good stuff. So this is a very interesting match between two different game styles. So the first thing we're going to cover are the coaching tips, and what became very apparent, and truthfully it's difficult to see the phases of play when you watch highlights. So when I watched the full match, I did watch it slightly faster than normal speed because I don't have that much time these days. But when you see the full match, you can see the phases of play developing effectively. What I mean by phases of play from a previous video, if you recall, is that you usually have a settling phase at the beginning of a match, especially in the first game. Then you have that mid-game stage, and then you have the end game. Different phases of play have different general characteristics, but what we see is in this match when I watched game one, Tarek Momen took a while to settle in. He was hitting a lot into the backcourt, playing a very attritional game. Now, there are several reasons for that, and this is what makes squash really interesting, and a thing that most people don't consider because most people haven't played in multiple venues and different climates and things like that. The court environment and the court conditions actually change. So when you're playing outside the way these guys are, in the heat and the humidity, the court plays very differently. The ball bounces differently. It's tougher to attack. On a glass court, the ball moves differently compared to a regular court. And then when you change temperature and the different balls, the white versus the double yellow dot, it's very different. The thing that was very apparent in this match, and this is kind of a combination of points 2, 3, and 4 that I've written, is that Coll likes to play an attritional game where he hits into the backcourt a lot. He's very patient. He sort of grinds it out in a sense, but he changes the pace. He defends whenever he's under a bit of pressure, gives himself time. That's also changing the pace and the pattern for his opponent. And then he likes to attack, but he attacks with the low risk, high percentage attacks. You don't see him going for crazy nicks too often. You see him going for the straight drop that goes front wall, floor, and then sticking to the sidewall, or you see him go for the counter drop that goes front wall, floor, sidewall. You rarely see him going for the angular nicks that go and roll out of the nick, because those oftentimes, if you don't hit them, they pop back out at you. So that's Coll's style. Tarek Momen, on the other hand, he has a very different style. He will open the court up more. Coll shuts the court down. Tarek Momen opens the court up. And that a lot of this also comes down to your personality, your fitness, the way you enjoy playing squash, so many factors. But with Tarek Momen, you see that he initiates, and he initiates from different angles. So he might be going for the cross-court nick, he might go for the cross-court kill, the hold flick, the trickle boast, like all sorts of stuff. He initiates from different angles. Coll doesn't initiate from those many positions. And when he does take it in, he doesn't play with big angles, he plays with the finer angles to squeeze the ball along the sidewall. Tarek Momen does the squeezing and the other side. What was really interesting in this match is that Tarek Momen wasn't able to finish the ball as effectively as he normally does. That could be partly because Coll's fitness might have been in his head, thinking that, hey, if I don't hit the perfect shot, he's going to get it. I'm going to be under reverse pressure, because Coll's strength is that counter drop and that counter attack. That could have been in Momen's mind. The temperature and the heat and the bouncy ball could have been in Momen's mind. He also could just not have been feeling it the same way. So who knows what the reason was, but he wasn't able to finish as effectively. The other thing that was really apparent when I watched the full match, and I made some notes, so I might glance over periodically to look at my notes, because what happened was in the mid stages and at the end stages of at least two of the games, Tarek Momen hit multiple errors after long rallies, which indicates, and he was going for stuff throughout the rallies, and he was making Paul Coll move all over the court, but he ended up hitting the tin at the end of it all. And that was probably because of this inner dialogue that was going on, saying, holy crap, I'm doing everything and I'm throwing the kitchen sink at this guy, but he's just bringing everything back. And it's not like Tarek Momen was just standing in the middle and doing it. He was having to work as well. So Paul Coll was moving Momen around, and he was just being patient. And then Momen said, hey, this is boring, I'm not enjoying this, or it's unsustainable, or whatever his reason was. He would then attack, and the attack would get finer and finer and finer towards the tin because he had to hit outright winners, and then he would start catching the tin. And I'll point that out if I remember as we continue going through this video where it actually happens. So let's jump into the video now and see what these highlights look like. And again, thanks to Squash TV and bless YouTube for making this all available to us. So as usual, the players are jockeying for position. Nice change of pace, nice squeezing drop from Momen, forces the loose ball, puts in another squeezing drop, and that is how it's done. Nice and tight, squeeze your opponent, and then attack the next one. Here we see it again. Or no, this is a different rally, my apologies. And Momen continues to put it in. Coll continues to use height. Nice change of pace and tight ball from Coll. Again, you see that change of pace? That was so cool. So the first one that Coll hit over here, look how high it is. It's up here on the front wall, glued to the side wall, gives him time. Second one, he has a bit of an angle, and now he's got a bit of an angle, so he hits it much lower and finds that nice angle coming into the side wall. And see, right where Momen's hitting it, the ball is glued. So this is something that top players practice diligently. You're not just trying to hit tight, tight, tight all the time over here. When you do hit a tight ball, oftentimes your opponent will give you maybe a few floorboards. And when you get enough of the floorboards, like let's say where Momen's right foot is over here, if you're this far away from the side wall, the top players will be able to generate this angle that the ball comes and hits right along that side wall. And when you're this tight, chances are that's what's going to happen. And now we've seen this even in yesterday's videos that I shared. You have the entire open court basic tactics hit to the open court. Now, Coll is a traditional open court, basic tactics guy. So he's going to play it going for the nice, accurate drop shot into that front right corner. What he could do is if this situation ever pops up again, and Momen will instinctively start going forward because he knows that's what Coll's doing. If Momen were to take that inside line, so going in front of Coll around the left side, well, then Coll could show the drop and hit the drive as well. And that's when you start changing up tactics and breaking patterns. So one thing I want to point out, I'm looking at my notes here really quickly, is that at this point, we're at 8 all. So this winner, it's now 8 all. And from this position at 8 all, Momen, when I watched the full game, Momen hit a tin, Coll went up 9-8, and then at that point, Coll put in a hard rally, 40 to 50 shots probably, and then Momen hit another tin, and Coll suddenly gets this lead from 8-8 to 10-8, and I believe the next clip that you're going to see here, he's at 10-9, so Momen got one back. And let's see what happens here. So again, you just see the change of pace from Coll. And again, looking for those angles, and that's loose. And he puts it away. So you see this is an awesome 1-2 punch combo. So Coll plays, he has a bit of an angle. He's playing that ball under the service line. The ball is moving away from Momen. Momen tries to flick it when it's a little bit behind him. Top players can do this pretty consistently, but it's a little bit loose. Coll is hunting. It's one step off the tee for him. And that's a nice tight volley drop. And that's a winner. Game 1 to Coll. I think this was a long game, like 20 some minutes. Nice change of pace again from Coll. That's tight from Momen squeezing him. putting in that drop that's getting into the sidewall. Nice change of pace from Momen that time. There again, you see just consistently jockeying for position, and that was a fine drop. And you see how short Tarek Momen had to keep that ball to win it? That is the challenge when you're playing someone like Coll, who picks up everything. He literally needed to hit the drop like an inch above the tin to keep it short enough for Coll to not retrieve it. So now check this out. So we're kind of getting to the mid stage of the game, 4-4. And I made some notes over here. Momen actually went up 4-1, and then Coll came back. And then from this point, you're going to see the scoreline is going to change. What I noted was from this mid-game region, Momen hit one error. So this is in sequence. An error, a winner, an error. He had a stroke awarded against him, and then 3 errors in a row after that. And that was all because Coll is just putting relentless pressure in terms of just keeping the ball in play. Lifting when he's under pressure, keeping the ball in play, keeping it in play, keeping it in play, and then Momen just has to go finer, finer, finer. When he's attacking, he feels the pressure to do something else, to be extra creative, and that's where the tins come into play. And let's see, you're going to see the scoreline change momentarily. And then there you go. Momen forces the cross, it's loose. Coll this time, instead of showing that straight drop that he always does, he shows the drop and then changes the direction at the last second. So that was great changing of pattern. And now Coll's up 10-6, and there's the last error. That was a 3rd error in a row that Momen hit in that game. Some nice defending from Coll again. Nice working boast. Good choice defending from Momen. That's a nice tight ball. Forces a loose one. Puts it in, but it's just too loose. And then you see how Coll counterattacks that. So check this out. So Momen did hit a decent length. Coll hit a pretty loose ball. Like if you think about it being over here, that's a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 8 floorboards away. So, you know, we're talking a good foot and a half. At this level is a lot. And Momen puts that in, but it's super loose. And here's Coll's bread and butter, the strength of his game. He just comes in, puts that counter drop in, and look how tight that ball is. And it stays short. So second bounce is literally in front of Momen's racket. That's amazing. So getting into the mid stage, it's nice and close. 4-3. Look at that. And it's beautiful because his technique is, Coll's technique is so simple. Little margin for error. There's defending again. Nice line from Momen. Forces a loose ball. And that was a change of patterns right there, which was really good. See, normally Momen has been putting this ball in. I'm going to show you guys here. So the first change of pattern over there, Coll defends nicely. Momen setting it down the wall. So Coll was coming from here, furthest part in the court. And he hits a good length. That was the key, the good length, set it up. So basic tactics, hit to the open court, make the guy do the most work. And then he hit the good length as well. Coll forced the cross. And Momen's been playing this ball short pretty consistently in this match, like straight. And in this case, he's changes the pattern. And it goes in the other direction. And you see Coll's natural movement is just to already start going to the front left because that's all that's been happening. And then he has to make a sudden turn. And Momen executed that with a tight finish as well. So now from this position, I made some notes as well. So Momen, from being 4-3 in that position, from there Momen hit one winner. He hit 4 errors. He made 4 errors. And he had 2 strokes awarded against him. So you think about that. He's got 6 points going against him, only 1 that he actually earned. And Coll, in the same span, hit 2 errors. He made 2 errors, and he hit 1 winner. So when you look at those stats, it's so evident that this game was literally in Tarek Momen's head. Paul Coll played a phenomenal strategy to just be attritional, retrieve, keep the ball in play the low risk, high percentage drops and kills that just get glued to the wall, forced Tarek Momen to initiate, have to play with the angles, have to change the pattern of play. And at the end, you saw that Momen just hit a bunch of errors, and he got the strokes awarded against him, either because he didn't hit the ball tightly enough, or Paul Coll hit the ball so tightly that when Momen retrieved it, the ball kind of came back at him and it was a stroke. So let's see how the last, I think it's maybe 10-15 more seconds of highlights of match ball. Paul Coll's changing the direction. Again, just changing the pace. Momen goes for the drop from the back of the court. And that's literally tells the story of this game. Tarek Momen went for the, and he's smiling. He's smiling for maybe for a few reasons. Paul Coll's super hyped up because this match was over an hour for 3 games. The amount of mental focus that Paul Coll had to exert over here was incredible because he made such few errors and he played that high percentage squash and he stuck to his game plan for such an extended period of time. That is mentally actually very impressive. And Tarek Momen is probably laughing at his at Paul Coll's celebration, but he's also probably like, I couldn't do anything. Like, that was ridiculous. I went finer, I hit the tin, and he's probably like, that tin is an example of how that entire match unfolded. So there it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed that breakdown. I hope the extra context from the full match actually helped you put some perspective into this. And when you are playing someone who is that attritional style player at a lower level, know that at some point, if your shots are significantly better than theirs, if you can make them do that work repetitively, they will make the error. At this level, Paul Coll mentally on this day was a beast. His fitness is beastly, so it was really tough for Momen to break him down, and Momen wasn't hitting as accurately as he normally does. So several factors at play. But I hope you really enjoyed that. Give it the thumbs up, like it, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I love the discussions that are taking place on the channel. It seems like you guys are really processing, internalizing, and growing from everything that we're sharing. So I appreciate you for that. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.